Hi, everyone, and welcome to Wednesday Read Alouds. Today we are reading Baabwaa and Wooliam, which is written by Dave Elliott and illustrated by Melissa Sweet. This is Wooliam. He is a sheep. You will note that Wooliam is reading. There are not many sheep who read, but Wooliam is one of them. This is Baabwaa, also a sheep. In this picture, Baabwaa is knitting. Knitting is a very practical hobby for a sheep. It's surprising not more of them do it. Oh well. Baabwaa and Wooliam are best friends. They spend most days reading and knitting, knitting and reading. Sounds kind of boring, but they like it. One day, Wooliam looked up from his book, an adventure story. Pirates, treasure chests, that sort of thing. "I've been thinking," he said to Baabwaa. "Thinking is good," Baabwaa answered, "or so I've heard." "We should have an adventure of our own," said Wooliam. "Agreed," said Baabwaa. "There are only so many sweaters one can knit." And so the two friends set off. The day was perfect for such a thing. Flowers were blooming, the sun was shining, the birds were singing. This last bit about the birds was especially good because adventures usually involve some kind of trouble, and it's nice to have a little bird song to help you through it. There was, however, a problem. Baabwaa and Wooliam lived in a field, and the field was surrounded by a stone wall. Which way?" said Wooliam. "You decide," Baabwaa answered. "Left, then," said Wooliam. Baabwaa thought they should have gone right. The two sheep walked around the field once, twice, 3 times. "Is this what an adventure is like?" Baabwaa asked. "All this walking, I mean?" "I don't know," said Wooliam, "but I do know it's making me hungry." "Me too," Baabwaa replied. "Grass, anyone?" The two friends were just finishing their lunch when, quite unexpectedly, they were approached by a third sheep. A sheep with long, rangy tail. A sheep with sharp, whiskery snout. A sheep with a filthy wool coat. "Hey there, mutton chops," said the, sheep. "What's shakin'?" Then he grinned, and Baabwaa's heart broke. His mother had never taught him to brush his teeth. "We've been looking for an adventure," Wooliam said. "Look no longer," the new sheep said. "You've found one." And he snapped his horrible teeth most unpleasantly. "Run!" said Wooliam. "It's the wolf in sheep's clothing I've read about." "Is this an adventure?" Baabwaa said. "I'm not a fan." Oddly, the birdsong did not seem to help. Suddenly, the wolf stopped his shenanigans. "Let's quit this nonsense for a moment," he said to Wooliam. "I'm interested in that thing you said earlier." "What thing?" said Wooliam. "That thing about me," said the wolf. Wooliam thought for a moment. "Not sure," he said. But Baabwaa's memory was better than Wooliam's. "He said he's reading about you," she said to the wolf. The wolf's eyes, which to now had been kind of shifty looking, grew large and round. "Is it true?" he said to William. Have you actually read about me? Look at the surprised look on his face. Hmm?
See for yourself, said William. He reached into his backpack and pulled out a book. The wolf took a step back.
He looked at the blue sky. He looked at the green grass.
He looked at the big stone wall. He looked everywhere but at the book.
Why do you think he's doing that?
Oh dear, said William. I see the problem.
What problem? Said the wolf. There is no problem.
You can't read, can you? Said William.
The wolf howled a mournful lupine howl. Oh! He dropped his shaggy lupine head.
Baabwaa's heart broke for a second time as the salty lupine tear fell to the ground.
It's not my fault, the wolf cried. I'm just not the reading kind. Oh.
William can teach you, you know, said Baabwaa. The wolf lifted his head and looked at William.
Would you? Asked the wolf. Would you do that for me? William didn't seem so sure.
Of course he would, said Baabwaa. And in the meantime, I'll knit you a new coat. This one is a disgrace. And so William went about the business of teaching the wolf to read. It wasn't easy. The wolf often jumped up in the middle of the lesson and chased the two sheep around the field. This irritated William to no end. Don't let it get to you, William, said Baabwaa. He's just following his nature. Besides, all the reading and knitting has taken its toll. We could use the exercise.
There they go. Oh no.
Eventually, after a lot of hard work and several extra help sessions, the wolf did learn to read. And when he saw what the book had said about him, he was outraged.
This is unfair, he complained. It says here I'm cruel and sneaky.
And your point? Said William.
It's not true, the wolf insisted. I'm just rambunctious.
That's one word for it, said Baabwaa. And so, over time, an unlikely friendship formed between the wolf and the two sheep. One that involved a fair amount of chasing. But there were quiet times too. One afternoon when the wolf was on the second volume of a new series he liked, the two sheep had shed quite a few pounds. William turned to Baabwaa. This has been quite an adventure after all, he said. Baabwaa put down her knitting, a set of snazzy leg warmers for Wolf. I agree, she replied. Much better than pirates. The wolf looked up from his book.
Can you two chatterboxes keep down the noise? He said. I'm reading over here. The end. Nice listening, everyone. I'm so glad I got to read with you today. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.